I went from thinking it was never going to happen for me to having my house, luxury car, and dream business. Won't he do it? Hi lovelies, welcome back to my channel. I've been talking about manifestation a lot over on my TikTok, with most people loving it and sharing their testimonies about how it actually works. But some people saying they've been manifesting for years and still ending up in the same place. So I thought I would share with you how I manifested my dream life, from my house, luxury car, and dream business. I see a lot of people talk about how they manifest things in a year or in 6 months. That hasn't always been my story. So I wanted to encourage you that you might be at your lowest point now, where you've been manifesting for years, still ending up in the same place. Just because it's taking time, it doesn't mean it's not happening. Miracles do happen. I've always had a positive mindset. I don't know if it's the Delulu Pisces in me, but even at my lowest, I've always believed that everything was going to work out, that it was happening for a reason, that it was temporary, and my winning season was coming. So when things aren't going my way, like when I became a single mom, I knew that everything was going to work out. I always say that manifestation is delusional faith. Having faith and delusion that you can get everything that you want, but you can't rush the process. Believing is just one thing, but when you try and force things, that's when you end up in far worse situations. But when you just allow for things to happen, that's when things happen organically, and that's when you naturally manifest and align yourself with what's meant for you. Let's talk about my house, because that's the first thing that I manifested. I've always wanted to be a homeowner ever since I was 18. The idea of having my own space and having something that was mine. I knew that when I got my first job, that's the first thing that I would do. To be crystal clear on the house that I wanted, I wrote down everything that I wanted and didn't want in a house. So what that looked like was, it had to be a house, not an apartment. I don't like the idea of all the rooms being on one floor. It had to have a garden. It had to have at least 2 bedrooms because I wanted a closet room. It had to be outside of London. I was living in London at the time, and the traffic was crazy. You had to pay for parking outside your own house, and it was so expensive. Oh, it also had to be under a specific budget. I had to buy it within 2 years of me starting my first job. I didn't want to live in shared accommodation for any longer than I needed to. So I wrote it all down. I was super audacious with everything that I wanted, but I figured if I was going to commit to a mortgage, I had to be really happy with where I was living. So yeah, super audacious. The other thing I did, which I still do, if you watch my TikToks, you know what I'm talking about. I drove around in the areas I wanted to live in. I viewed the houses even before I had enough money saved up, because I wanted to expand my wealth energy, which is basically exposing myself to the things that I want. The more you see it, the more you believe it, and the more you can manifest it. But this is a big but. I didn't just stop there, which is why I see a lot of people going wrong, where they write their dreams down, visualize it, and sit back and wait for them to miraculously appear. That's not how it works. God helps those who help themselves. If you just pray and have faith that you're going to get a job, but you don't actually apply for the job, you're obviously not going to get the job. You need to take aligned action if you want your manifestations to work, and that's exactly what I did. It worked out. It would have taken me years, I'm talking years, for me to buy my house if I stayed in the first job that I had after leaving university. So I worked my way up the ladder in 7 months. Again, another audacious, bold move. I always say no one's coming, sis. You have to be your own superhero. You have to create your own opportunities. Step outside your comfort zone. Be uncomfortable if you want to get everything that you want. Nothing is going to come handed to you. No matter how much you believe it, how much you want it, how much faith that you have, if you don't have the aligned action, you will see yourself in the same place year after year. So within a year and a half, I'd saved up for my deposit. I started viewing houses, and I found this house that I'm living in right now with everything that I had written down. It's got a garden, it's got 2 bedrooms and a closet. It's outside of London, and it was in my specific budget. What helped me manifest my house was being crystal clear on what house I wanted, writing it down, and taking the action to make it happen. Don't wait for opportunities, create them. Apply for the promotions, work in a different field, start a business. You just need the confidence, audacity, and clarity. But it can be that simple to manifest your dream. Let's talk about my car, which I'm so obsessed with. I used to have a Mercedes A-Class, but she was too pretty for me. I like my cars with a bit of grit, just like how I like my men. but I couldn't afford to get a new car at the time. Cost of living. I now have a BMW X1, my big daddy car as I like to call her. When I had my baby, I had a C-section, so it was really painful to bend down when I was transferring her in and out of the Mercedes. That was the main reasons why I needed a car that was higher up. I obviously had the desire of wanting a new car, but I had recently just quit my job and I was transitioning to become a full-time content creator and also having what would now be my dream business, which I'll talk about in a second. What really worked for me, which a lot of people take for granted, is remaining in a place of gratitude. I had a roof over my head, I had food on the table, and I still had a car to take me grocery shopping and all the errands that I wanted to do. So I wasn't operating from a place of desperation, because what that does is create desperate thoughts and desperate feelings. Instead of constantly saying, I need a new car, I need a new car, I switched it to, I can't wait to be able to take my baby out the car without having to bend down. I can't wait to drive my new car to Audi, because to be honest, that's the only place I was going at the time. And even when I was driving around, I would make a game of me trying to spot my dream car, which actually isn't the car I have now. It was the Mercedes GLE. I would go to dealerships with my dad and my daughter every single weekend to go and look at the Mercedes GLEs and also the G-Wagons, because hello, I would test drive the GLEs with Ocean in the back and I feel so excited. But I didn't want to be too deep in Delulu land like Legion. If you know, you know, because if I was being honest with myself, it was going to take me a long time for me to be able to afford a GLE. I didn't have any steady income at the time. It was actually my dad who suggested that we go to a BMW dealership. One of my first cars actually was a BMW 1 Series, which I absolutely love. As soon as we got to the dealership, I saw the BMW X1 in black with cream leather interior and I fell in love immediately. It wasn't brand new, by the way, I want to say that. When we inquired about the pricing, it turns out that my Mercedes A-Class was the exact price as the BMW X1, because I hadn't had a Mercedes for that long and I obviously kept it in excellent condition. I was able to exchange my Mercedes for the BMW X1 without any additional cost. Won't he do it? I just wanted an upgrade and a bigger car, and I ended up being able to get it much quicker than I would have been able to if I got the GLE. So sometimes your manifestations might come in different forms, but if you're being stubborn or stuck in how you want things to be, you might actually miss your blessing. Sometimes your way isn't the right way. Sometimes your way isn't God's way, and God always knows best. He has a plan for you. Even before you were here, your blessings are already laid out, but if you remain stuck on how it should be, you're going to miss it. If you're not grateful with what you have or where you are in life, you're never going to be able to look at things abundantly. You're always going to be desperate for more and not be content with where you are. And then lastly, my business, which is my most recent manifestation. Like I said previously, I quit my job during my maternity without any plan of what I was going to do, which was very unlike me. I was very risk averse. Having my baby honestly changed me for the better. It forced me to take risks and truly work on myself. I was slightly worried about how I was going to stay afloat, but my mindset has always been everything always works out for me, so I wasn't overly stressed. So I was trying to figure out my next steps. I knew that it had to be something that would elevate me and make me soft life money, where I would work less and make more money. I didn't really know what that looked like at the time. I decided to become a full-time content creator and just kind of see where that took me. At the same time, I was working on myself because I'd gone through a recent breakup. I was now a single mom trying to discover my new identity. I was also still grieving the loss of my mom. It was a lot. I was in therapy doing self-reflection and I started seeing a lot of changes in myself. I was more confident. I knew my worth. I could communicate. I was more patient. I was more feminine. So I just decided to share my journey on my channel, and that was the birth of my personal development content, which was a combination of my personal experience and also my clinical experience. And I tell this story all the time that I started receiving so many messages, so many emails from people inquiring if I provide coaching services, and I thought I don't, but I could. That's how my coaching business came about, and I truly believe that me working on myself, me reinventing myself, attracted my dream business. I didn't have to forced it. It just aligned with my skills and experience, and people just saw the value in that. I was able to get exactly what I wanted, something that was going to elevate me and something that was going to allow me to make soft life money, working less and making more money. Similar to when I manifested my house, it didn't just end there. I had to take action, learning about my craft, learning about sales, marketing, and everything that's involved in running a business for me to actually become successful. The message here is, if you want to manifest successfully, have the desire, be crystal clear, write it down, take the action, and constantly work on yourself. Like this video if you want to see more videos like this. Subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell so you're notified every single time that I upload a video. I will see you in an upcoming video. Mwah. Bye, lovelies.